Show and stream. Yeah.
So my name is Dave Jamal. I'm the chair of DYLC and welcome to the last DYLC. It's been an amazing 3 days with discussions on this
That's for
event.
YouTube. So you have to.
For those who came yesterday,
Yeah.
we had a nice conversation.
And the IG one, that one, you have to download the whole.
So I hope today you will also have fun.
It's okay.
And
Thank you so much.
for us to have fun,
Traditionally entered.
yeah, so I would like to start with the expectation setting, I would say. And the first expectation setting is on social distancing. Wow. But now social distancing comes with a different direction. If you're sitting next to someone you know, where? And speaking
They know each other. Wow.
yes, Kieran, you're the first one to lead by example. This
They know
is
each other. They came almost together. Move.
yes.
Know each other.
Sorry, Kieran, you'll be my sacrificial lamb. Be my sacrificial lamb. So proactive. Yeah, thank you. Wow. Here. Sit here. Where can see you? Wow, thank you. Thank you. Kilian, just move with me, move with me. Move with me, thank you. Move with me. Yeah, just move with me. Steps down, Kilian down, yes. People going, people coming. Yes, people coming here. Yes.
Conference team, please remove your bags from the chairs.
I'm not forgiving you, Janet.
Conference team,
Giddy.
conference team, please remove your bags.
Giddy, you are in the conference team. You have no choice, unfortunately. Because in the conference team, you saw the chat, I know I can relate to conference team. So I would like you to move away from Janet. I want her full attention. Yes. She's an amazing lady. You know, thank you. Wow, thank you. Thank you. Constance, I have an issue actually. Yeah, they should just move to the space is in front. Yes. The amazing is the audacity. This is the talking at its The amazing four ladies.
Let me make this simple with it.
Yes.
The last row.
Yeah. Yes.
So if you're behind me, please.
Kindly move. Let's move
There's
from
so
it.
many spaces in the front.
Yeah.
So many. Those who
Gentlemen. Wow. Yes.
This is where I have the last space. So if you're
Yeah.
here,
Rob.
here.
Yes.
Don't get control room.
Everyone who's at the top, kindly close that room.
Yes, please close it. Switch off the lights down. Okay, the last person close that. Yeah. I'm not expecting you on that.
Okay, so that means Klaus, kindly, your DYLC is relaxed, settled, comfortable, the only one actually. You, how are you? Let's have a seat. Lena, the amazing Lena. Wow. You look nice. Are you performing? Yes, I'm seeing the one. Social distancing is if your seat has been, if your seat has a sticker that states thank you for respecting social distancing. It's quite ironical. There's an amazing situation next to each other. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so now I'm back on this room. There's something interesting happening here, right? So this person will talk more.
That's what I'm wondering. Am I going to sit alone?
Julian, how are you? Klaus, my name is Klaus. Yeah, I brought you here. Klaus, are you listening? Nice. Yes, Eddie. I was sitting. Nesh, Munene Mwenda. I don't want you here. Shaksi apparently is something. That's all. Nesh comes at the front. Yeah. Go to your games. Yeah.
When it goes.
Oh, I think I was at the front. Francis Ishui. Frank.
My body. So you need to be with my body. Where were you for life? Can I invite you? You get to work. There is okay. I know that is. That's what I want. I'm not that bad. Yeah.
Thank you. Frank, it is sitting comfortably, not. Thank you. Okay, I think we can start. Thank you for following the instructions, apart from Klaus. But anyway, we continue. So that's the first expectation setting. Always ensure social distancing, and at the same time, don't sit with someone next to you, apart from the first law, which is for the organizing committee. Yeah, so, yes. I'd also like to thank our live audience for joining us. I hope you're observing social distancing. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Yeah, very comfortable.
Okay, and after that, it's in time giving. Time giving is really important. Starting 8, but you still have to finish in good time because it's a Saturday. You can't stay here on the way till 6 p.m. That's just unacceptable, right? So how this is going to run is we have 2 sessions which are going to start immediately. This 2 sessions. We have a session on exchange.
Yes.
To also, bring back the exchange culture. Is there any exchange vice president around? LCP, you can be our exchange vice president somewhere here. Who is it? Simami actually. So for those who are reading us on the last side, exchange is like the very important device. So where? Oh, really? Oh, wow. Yes. You've come on the right thing. So we'll have a session on exchange, then we'll have a session with our amazing alumni. We have amazing alumni who are going to tell us their experience in ISEC, how it has helped them connect to their life, their personal experiences, and why it's important to be in this amazing organization. Now, the third expectation setting, when you see me do this, and the personal experience really just stretch your hand and give them very good stuff. This means silence, and as I was explaining, we observe social distance. You know where I'm looking. It's a living check. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So anytime you see the speaker doing this, anytime you see the facilitator doing this, it's about observing silence. Francis Ishoi and James Catherine, please. Yes, that is my new nickname. Please, we observe silence and also let's enjoy the session, right? If you have questions, ask. There are amazing panelists, they are entertaining, they have amazing sessions, and heading into the first session. I want to introduce the facilitators as they come down. Please help me welcome Nicole. Help me welcome Nicole to the stage, guys. Come. And the second facilitator of the session, kindly help me welcome Michelle. So together, let's clap for them. Now, before we had a few, and the facilitators are always a sacrificial lamb.
Wow.
Do you think they'll follow the theme?
Watu wambie tu wamevaa kama nani alafu tuone.
Who is your inspiration?
Which artist?
Which celebrity is your inspiration?
Yes.
Remember the celebrities, so you can say, yeah, so who's your inspiration of this look today?
Rihanna next.
We can't hear.
It's Rihanna, okay?
Rihanna.
Yeah.
Michelle?
Her. Do you know her?
Huh?
Yeah, she loves being her.
Not her.
Why do you think? Why do you think it's not her?
They think we know.
Yeah, it's her. It's her. She likes being comfortable in spaces. She likes wearing mom jeans at some point and just nice tops, very casual. She's so chill. So yeah.
Very good about that, man. Good question.
Let me tell you, he's an amazing artist who goes by the name of one of our panelists today coming, very casual man.
Can we get
Who goes by, yes.
Sam.
No. Who goes by the name of Zeus? This is actual inspiration today. I had a talk with him in the morning. He told me that he does actual, just so it's something that you can find the drawing to so that's what I'm going with. Yeah. You'll see when he starts facilitating, you'll see there's no difference between him and I.
Oh, Tona.
Yeah, it's the stage is yours. Let's start with the again.
Okay. So as Isaac, we always have a tradition. I want everyone to be so and I want everyone to be psyched up. So hey Isaac! Whoa! Hey Isaac! Whoa! So my name is Nicole Wambura.
Eish. Wow.
I'm a vice president in Isaac University of Nairobi. Nikisema portfolio mtandao, so wanted to tell you in the process.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. So I will shout here, I think again, from the time. So my name is Michelle Tebu. I am the current local chapter vice president in Coming Global Talent for Isaac in Okay, cool. Okay, so we're going to start the short get to know each other session. You get to know us as a party, we get to know you as the audience. So yeah.
I'll just speak in what? So who's talking? So our first detail is say an assumption that you have about us.
Both of
Yes.
you.
Yes. Yes. That you have about us. An assumption. Like your first. Much of one boy. Oh, okay.
But you guys are sisters. Yeah. My assumption.
Start from another mother.
But same part.
Anyone with any other assumption?
The fantasy had. Alafu giants.
Let it.
What is the best stuff?
My assumption about Nicole was that she's slow.
Painful.
I suppose
Alafu Janet.
Do we do one each? Individually or what?
Individually poison.
Thank you.
Pick my poison. Michelle. Hi. My assumption about you like breaking hearts. Shall we mention the dates? Ababaka professional receipts. 19th of February 2021. 3:02 p.m. What's a
So we go to the next scale. So I'm going to do 2 lies, 1 truth.
Hey. Okay. All right.
I have been in 3 relationships.
Nice. Okay.
So I have moved schools 5 times ever since I was 4 years old. I love comic books. I am very obsessed with comic books. And I'm a dog person. I have the first one I've nullified the question. So I have moved schools 5 times since I was 4 years old. I love comic books. And another one, just change it. Oh, I love horses. Samuel, actually. Anyone? Yes.
You like comic books?
That's true. Any other view? Okay, so now
The truth.
yeah.
The truth is comic.
Interesting. So I don't love comics. I love listening to people tell me stories about comic books. That's different. I love silence. Oh my god, that's interesting. And I have not moved to school, sorry. I was in one school in kindergarten, another one in primary, another one in secondary, then now I'm coming to syllabus and I'm fine. Right, that one.
I feel like I've played these games. Anyway, I hate asparagus. Guys. I love cats. And I love to travel, but I get classic. Many confused. I hate asparagus. I love cats. And I love to travel, but I get classic.
Only
Yeah.
students.
Which one is the truth? Sorry. Uh-huh. Shaksi.
The truth, you can check
Asparagus.
Misscheduled. New vocabulary. Yes.
Sir.
Actually, the truth is, I love travel to get fancy. Yes. I love, that's the lie. I love asparagus.
Guys, there we go. So the last space for that department. One weird fact, or rather interesting, because I find weird interesting about both of us. We prefer doing laundry for white clothes to dark clothes. Like we'd rather wash white garments and okay. Nicole, back over to you.
Right. So, so the whole title will give you a glimpse of what we're going to talk about, which is the exchange experience of Kenya. Who can tell me what exchange is, like in a nutshell? Popcorn answers. Very quickly, those titles right now. I guess everyone's twice. Yeah.
The once, twice, going to pick someone.
I'm going to pick someone
to speak with. Great. What will be able to exchange this.
Like in a nutshell, not in Isaac. Yeah.
That's I say that's a nice perspective. Well, just when we had the word exchange, thank you, Rita.
Vice President of Exchange.
Okay.
Yeah, just what's this? Yeah.
and give his
Sorry, ma'am.
She has been really using exactly perfect. I guess everyone understood. I hope everyone understood. Sorry. Yeah. We may have some issues, but anyway, yes, it's usually you give me something and I give you something and you give me something back in exchange. So the whole point of exchange is benefiting someone from this point to the next point, right? And yeah, that's it.
Okay. So now let me bring an Isaac perspective here. So in Isaac, our exchange program, we have people who come to the country to actually do exchange, that is global volunteer and global talents, that's the internships for those who are not familiar with the product. And then we have people who from Kenya go outside to do volunteering and internships as well. So the exchange is not I'm from Kenya, I have to go to Uganda, someone from Uganda will come to replace me. No, we don't do that. But we exchange services. Like you come here, you give me as an Isaac, you're giving me an experience to prepare you for the whole exchange space, and then you get to learn, get to acquire skills like how to live in different environments. So that is how our exchange is done. So now, today we're going to be focusing on the incoming exchange, mostly not that we're going to neglect the outgoing, no, but we're going to focus a little bit more with the people who come in and how you, as an ISECA, who is not in incoming exchange portfolio, or you as an engaged with ISEC, who's not an ISEC completely, how you can also participate in incoming. Normally, most spaces in ISEC usually talk about outgoing, right? Most spaces, I'm not saying it's never been done, but most spaces we do outgoing. So someone comes here from maybe a university and tells you, oh, I went to Egypt, this is what happened, blah, blah, blah. But from out there, you don't know what someone from Egypt came to do in Kenya, right?
Yes.
Yes, Michelle.
Thank you. That's the spirit. So, please, this is my experience. I joined IHB, that is Incoming Global Volunteer. In 2019, I said in Japan. I have been blessed to be a body of four interns, and that girl, that's all I can say. So, please, your support.
Aww.
Yeah, this is a school in Madari. This is a house in it's not Kilimesha. Yeah, Kilimani. This host family. The first his name is Hank. He tried to motivate for his father. The first name is Life. Oh, he passed out. We're there. We had a day. Yeah, then it was, oh, this is what I do. If I go pick an intern, that is what I'll do for you. You can watch this video. That was the first intern we ever received when I joined ISEC, and it was huge. It was huge to us. We went to the whole portfolio to pick an intern. That's Gwadi, she's the outgoing, yeah, she's outgoing member of meeting vice president. Yeah, you see, the whole video. So we welcomed her. She was so happy. She was very excited to be welcomed, like almost 10 people. Yeah, it was a chill out. This was a chill out. We went to pick her up because it was 3 a.m. in the morning, and we had slept at Wari's home the previous night. I think you'll see Vanessa's photo. If not, the photo was supposed to put Vanessa or Kominala. So yeah. And that she is happy. Well, we usually do pick-ups at 3 a.m. and you're supposed to do them. You're supposed to pick an intern at the airport. It's the best experience. I now know my way in GA. I know where terminals are. I know, and then we danced for her vocals. We gave her gifts. Like that's what I usually do when I go when I go to pick up an intern. I dance for them, or I have a very nice gift for them. Yeah. Well, yeah, that was a short video. So I will briefly tell you in small bits how my experience has been. Of course, it has not been easy. You'll find interns who have different personalities, and you're there, you're outgoing, you're shouting something, and then you find an intern who does not even talk much. You're like, hi, are you good? You? Good. Okay. Yeah. So, but you just need to find a way. You need to know this intern that's coming to your country, what they're good at, what they like doing, if they like going for hikes. You prepare, you ask them before they come to the country, ask them about this is for Africans. You ask them what are they interested in. Actually, it's not as if you're an engaged with ISEC, if you're hosting an intern, it's good to have a meeting with them prior, so that you know what they like. When they come, you already have activities in place to actually do with them. Yeah, so I will talk about one specific intern. Her name was Morgan. She was crazy. So she comes and we take her to Kitengela. She picked Kitengela. And when we were talking, she was okay with going to work in the diaspora. You all go to Kitengela, or if you don't, okay, local, please make sure you wear white. And that's what I can tell you. Don't wear white garments. So we take her, and then the next day she calls me, she tells me, Michelle, I do not want to work here anymore. I'm like, oh, what do you mean? I need to go where the other interns are. I'm like, we cannot accommodate any other teacher. We're going to just disrupt the whole. She's like, no, Michelle. I want to go where the other interns are. I'm like, okay, cool. So we organize this party, remove her from Kitagera, we take her to lab school. She goes, the third day, she's already lost. I'm being called, I'm preparing for a paper. Being called and I'm like, Michelle, hello, you haven't, so now allow me to speak a little bit of Swahili and translate someone from a station. Kuna mzungu umeacha hapo kwa station. Mnakuwa let her gosh, calm down, what's happening? So a person was calling to complain about an intern who had got lost when she was going to Madari, that was Morgan. Yeah, and then that was the only crazy thing that happened, but the rest were now fun things where we always met at the collectives to have fun. We always went to nice places. We also had nice conversations. I now know when I go to Belgium, I don't have to pay for accommodation. Because I have a friend there. Her name is Morgan. You can check her Instagram. Her name is Mostinho. Yeah, she is so amazing and she's been up here. She probably will come next year. She has promised. So yeah, that's my experience. That was one of my favorite experiences. The rest I won't tell you because it's TMI. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, the fun part is not so I don't have to tell you all the details.
Safe space.
Those details.
So let's recall, share our experiences, and I say to my mother in exchange for you.
Okay, amazing. I think the first year when I joined ISEC, I got the opportunity to actually interact with peers. So there are these two male guys. Okay. Anyway, so they are from Netherlands and Germany, and they are very event-minded people. We got to interact with them. Sorry, I don't have the different experiences that we shared with them. But we got to interact with them and see different perspectives, and that's what exchange does. It shows you another side of the world that you don't get to see, and I think gives you that opportunity to interact with people from different regions, religions, and different aspects of how things work, and it makes you want to go for exchange. Who wants to go for exchange? I know that some people go for exchange, but who wants to go for exchange? So yeah, you see, like the experience that we're sharing at the moment, the web table was like explain how you get lost in a different city and how there's only someone to back you up, and that's the whole point of what you want to do when you're doing exchange. You don't want to live in a life that's simultaneously boring, but you want to live life on the edge, and exchange is where life on the edge is. So I'm keeping it short and simple because I know this is probably time bad, right?
Yes.
But yeah, the whole point of exchange is to explore and with very cheap accommodations and everything. So you guys should really think about, like, if you want to travel with ISEC. That's what I would say. And at the same time, you develop yourself in terms of leadership in whatever you're doing. If it's schoolwork, if it's you want to network, if you want to improve a certain skill, that's what I bet most of you want to improve in yourselves. And you don't do it in Kenya, right? Yes, in Kenya have opportunities, but you want different aspects of perspectives of that particular field.
Okay, so I know this space is not supposed to have CTAs, but anyway, I'm gonna keep them. So if you're an engaged with ISEC person and you want to interact with these people, there are ways you can come from your village. You always post Global Village Choir had one. So that is one. You can come see how people dress up in the Netherlands. Why? You don't take that those. You can also come. You can also host someone. You can host someone for 6 weeks. That would be the best. Yeah, you get to bond more with someone because you're sharing a full house. You get to you can even take them to your countryside, Yeah, and then on an object perspective, now you get to go outside. Please make sure if you want to go for exchange, if you're going on a holiday, or if you don't have a holiday, make sure after your 4th year, you look for an internship opportunities outside Kenya. Why do in Kenya? Why? People in Kenya apply one application to Safaricom applied by I don't know how many people, over 300. Think broaden your mind a little bit. Go outside there, apply in Rwanda, apply in Egypt, and see what you achieve. So I think that was all from me and Nicole.
Let's clap for them.
Okay, exchange is really important in ICE, So if you ever have a chance to go for exchange, go for exchange. If you want to hang out with exchange participants, so if you hear EPs for the new members or our friends of ISEC, EPs are exchange participants, just abbreviation. Yeah, abbreviation. Exchange. Oh, sorry, I already went for exchange. I went for exchange in Mauritius. That was one of my best experiences. When I finished my ISEC term. Okay, my ISEC term is ending this month. So when I finish my ISEC term, one of my biggest goals is to go for, we have products in ISEC, and this is the long-term product, the global talent product. So I'm looking to at least do my internship somewhere. Okay, I'm already working, but doing another internship somewhere in one of my dream countries where I have some friends. Going for exchange, you get a lot of friends. When I went for exchange, I was in a team of 75 exchange participants, and I was the only black person. Very nice experience. I was the only African, so it's like I have access to up to 60 countries, free of accommodation. This is something I really want to explore, and I'm done with ISEC. Anyway, I have a small dream. I want to put someone on the spot. I want someone to spell for me the word abbreviation. Huh? Abbreviation. Yeah. Where's Syria? Oh. Here, spell for me abbreviation. Yes.
Abbreviation. A-B-B-R-E-V-I-G-I-O.
Is it correct?
Someone else to try.
Yes.
A-B-B-R-E-V-I-G-I-O-N.
Let's love it. Yes.
Your abbreviation has a mission. Okay. So,
I saw a show yesterday and I found out that the average human brain can only accommodate up to 3 spelling words in an hour. Literally, I can ask you to spell the name car after spelling 4 words, and you forget the spelling of the name car. Very interesting. So, in human mind. I'm going to test it. I'm going to test it. Relax. Relax. We'll test that here very soon as we move on with the session. So stay keen. Any hard word or any complicated term that the speaker puts forward is a word that you guys will have to spell. And have to see how people are doing. Come on together, you know. Scholars. Are there any scholars in the room? Any scholars? Any scholars in the room? I'm not going to Okay. So we have an amazing session that is coming up next. This is a session which will be facilitated by your very own Derek Chamau. This is an amazing session. It's a session that is actually personal to me because it is a session with the alumni. Any alumni in the building? So it's so funny that one of our speakers is the president of ISEC alumni. And I'm saying where the alumni is in the building, and he's the choir. John, so we see you. Yeah, so why is it personal to me? How many are aware for the ISECers in the room? Super ISECers. What is a super ISECers? For the super ISECers in the room, how many are aware that there's an alumni network in the country? John, so we have an issue. People are not aware that we have an alumni network. I'll raise your hands again if you're aware there's an alumni network. So today we are going to talk about the alumni network and how they have benefited from being ISEC. We get to learn about who is fighting. Sonia and Kate will stop fighting. How the alumni have actually benefited from ISEC, how it has guided their personal journeys, right? And also being part of the alumni. One of my biggest goals is to work for ISEC International Alumni Association. It's a very huge organization. And statistically, they say that in every 5 companies in a country, we have more than 10 ISEC alumni in decision-making positions. I want to share those statistics. In every 5 companies in a country, we have more than 10 ISECers in decision-making positions. What does that mean? If you have an ISEC profile and you go to these decision-making companies, go to Safaricom, I know one of the speakers will tell you how many alumni he has interacted with. Some names, we start mentioning, you'll be like, you know, so that's the importance of this session. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have fun. And as I said, listen, ask questions, and let's have fun. Let's interact. It's going to be a conversation, right? So I want to introduce the speakers of today. First of all, I want to start with the board chair of ISEC in UOM. Board chair. Hey! Let's clap for him at one time. Let's clap for him. I want you to pay attention at the watch as well. Pay attention. Please pay attention. Pay attention. We're talking of very, very serious money. But wengine tunaishi Rongai, ndio maisha. Very keep quiet. Then I also want to introduce the president of ISEC in Kenya. President of ISEC in Kenya. Come on, guys. Let's try to the president of ISEC in Kenya. Yeah. Someone told me to become the president of ISEC in Kenya, you become an automatic alumni. So, welcome. Thank you, Abila. And finally, let's give a hand to the president of the ISEC Alumni Association of Kenya. Kindly, Mr. Johnson, please.
Yes, let's also do this one. So, as you can see on this panel, these are important people in our society. I'm also happy to be part of them. I don't know why I'm late tonight. Bill always, when he sees me doing, he's always smiling at me. But it's okay. I know. So, for once, I have a seat. Wow, I love this. Mr. Johnson, how are you?
Very well.
How are you? How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing well.
Mr. Bang, how are you?
Thank you.
So I'm going to jump into it. We're going to jump into it. When you look at this audience right now, what does it tell you? You just look at this ISEC audience right now. What does it communicate to you?
I need mics here. I need mics. Yes, thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is John Samoni. ISEC alumni, University of Nairobi. Year 99, critical of two.
Some of these guys were born. Basically, that's what
Speak for yourself.
Yes, so it was a question that we asked. I see the future.
That's quite a simple answer. I think I said something. I talk about two things. So, someone might say you're seeing let's say, quarter full view, and one of my most powerful lessons in ISEC that I learned from my president that I never worked under, but it's a quote that taken back to her is, if you ever organize an event and you have 6 speakers, you should be comfortable to ensure that those 6 speakers can speak to only one person. So if the event is successful, there's one person who came to the event and came the most that we possibly can from that space. So that's what I see. I see the need for us to always think about that one person who's supposed to come to that particular event, not one person.
Thank you. Good afternoon. As you've heard, I'm Daniel Baru, and I think I joined ISEC UN as Johnson was leaving. I joined in 2003, and I left in 2010.
7 years in the organization. Let's clap for you.
When I look at the room and I see young people here on a Saturday listening to these 3 strangers, it reminds me of the energy we had, because I bet most of your peers out there creating memories of a different kind. But for you, you're here to learn with an expectation to learn, with an expectation to create a future for yourselves based on the experiences that we've gone through. So for me, I see a challenge as well for us to really give you some of our experiences, and I can only hope that they can make you into a better person. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to start with you, when in your ISEC journey did you know that you've made the right decision to join this organization? At what stage did you say this is the right decision?
I think I was in doubt all along, to be honest, because ISEC teaches you a lot of different things in a lot of different ways, and you don't really realize the lesson until your experience another similar situation, but not in ISEC. And we were discussing actually earlier today also, like some of the things we are going through now in the corporate world, you can really relate how you react to that situation based on the experiences that you went through in ISEC. Some of them good, some of them bad, but at the end of the day, ISEC makes you have sort of like dampers. I don't know, for those in technical background, yeah, like shock absorbers. It allows you not to react in a negative way, I'd say, but more so to absorb the pressure that is coming and to think about the situation and try and chart a way that would have a good or a positive outcome for everyone. Because I know, like, for example, I'll give the example of today's event. So it's ISEC Daystar hosting an event in ISEC UON, and you find LCPs from where, like even the other universities are participating. During our time, it was unheard of. Yeah? Each LC was trying to outdo the other LC. Yeah? And for me, that time, it has made me really look back and see maybe we were not so adaptable back then. We were really narrow-minded and just focused on our goals. So today in the business, in out there in the corporate world, you could win as a team or you could shine as an individual. And winning as a team is always more sweeter and more sustainable. So such experiences really, when you see them now in the future, is when you think back and really appreciate the time you had in it.
I love what you say. You can win as a team or you can win as a team or shine as an individual. If you follow our pages, that to start. That's something interesting. Yeah, thank you so much.
I think my journey is very interesting. It's not over yet. One, so I think I'm here because I'm president. I have the interesting story. I used to run away from leadership before I said. I have only been a prefect, I think, once, and I was in class 8. What used to happen then, my class teacher actually just chose me. She just said, "You be the class prefect." The first day, I was like, okay, that's very strange. What happened over time, I became the class prefect who was very talkative. I'm a very talkative person. I am good in conversation. I can talk to anyone about anything. So it got to a point where it was very difficult for me to write an makers list because I was making noise too. So what started happening was every single time a teacher would come to punish the entire class, they would punish me too. So it became, did I press makers list, we punish you too. So it became a thing. So I went into high school and I ran away from leadership because then leaders then were very, what's the word to use, double standard. They would punish other people for things that they're also doing. They would have fun in school. When a crackdown happens, they actually select the people who are going to be found this week. They are going to not be found. So it was a very interesting experience. So for the 4 years, the leaders are not authentic, leaders are not the real leaders. So I hated leadership. I came, joined ISEC, and finally I just found myself in leadership and leadership and leadership. I've been a president now for 4 years in a row in ISEC. And
4 years in a row.
Yeah, I've returned as an MCP. I'm returning as an MCP. I can say that's very interesting. I think that's all I'll say. I think for me to literally change my view on leadership to the point where I can lead 4 years in a row, that's a good choice.
Thank you. When was that time? I think you are. Who knows when ISEC in Kenya started? Who knows when ISEC in Kenya started? Mutem? 19? want to see. Now, I'm seeing different places here. We were celebrating some years, so it is just about you doing once. This year, man, has 51 years. When is that year? So, as you answer, you will help me. Yes.
In 1970. So I guess for me, my story is just a bit of background. So I joined ISEC. I joined ISEC in the year 2000 in March. I think it was March 12th or something. I remember this date because I went for an MSS. At that time, for those of you who are in University of Nairobi, we used to have our MSS in the Senate chambers. For some reason, ISEC then used to meet where the Senate. I don't know if that has since changed. But I remember an MSS because my classmate was a member, and he was already in ISEC, he joined ISEC. So we joined campus in November. I was getting to ISEC like 4 months later in March. So we went to a conference in Honolulu. It was our LCDNS. Very inspiring, you know. But for me, the first 9 months of ISEC was purely just fascinating. I had no position. I just come from SS, go to a conference, I was in a team. I don't know whether I would say I was not getting it or was lost, but I was just around. Then we went for a national conference. It was in Masinga. I know that whether you still go there nowadays. And then in that conference, you know the way they have these awards at the end of the conference, then they say that I'm the most promising delegate, something like that, promising member or something like that. And that's when my accident began. I mean, I was in second year, at that time, I was quite a happy kind of guy, so we used to party out as always. And then for a whole conference, I mean, in a conference with like 100 plus 10 LCs, 8 or so participants plus the MC plus the facilitator, they got 100. For me to be announced as the most promising delegate, I was like, what are they saying in me? Who am I to have such an esteemed award? From there, I immediately ran for EB in March. I lost. I didn't get it. I lost. But the story is after that experience, after that moment, I joined an OC. I was an OCP for an event. Then the next year, I became VP. I think I was VP ICX. The next year, I became LCP. The next year, I went from the MC or the MCVP to GX. From there, I went to MCP. I lost MCP. I went to South Africa, came back from my fellowship. I joined the BOA for ISEC University, which I since understand was disbanded at some point. And then I joined the BOA for ISEC University of Nairobi, which I left 2 years back. In between that moment in time, I then joined the ISEC steering committee for setting up the association. And here I am as the president of the association. So, that seed started at a national conference. But the seed began when I joined ISEC. All I know is I was happy I joined the organization. That's what I can say. I was happy I joined the organization.
Thank you, James. How many are having very nice right now? How many are nice? Wow, thank you for the response. Now, your second question, I think this is more of a personal opinion. That's for me to start to go. ISEC should be relevant to young people, right? Why do you think it should be relevant to the youth thinking right now?
Okay, thanks for that question. Maybe I can just give perspective.
But immediately I finished what I said, I sit down, and when I came up and I say, I just finished business. So those of you who have an idea of what I do, I'm in the real estate sector. And also I'm an entrepreneur for the last about 13 years. I run several companies in healthcare, in real estate, in farming, in transport and logistics, and import and export. Now, I don't look at myself as this superstar kind of guy, because when I left the MC, I was so empowered with the skills that I've gotten over my 4 years in ISEC. My OCP experience, my VP experience, my OCP experience, my MCP experience, my attempt to become MCP. The thing I left ISEC, I was so clear. So before I started the hustle, I got employed on 3 occasions. Okay. First occasion, first interview I went for, I worked for 1 week. The CEO seemed to be, it was a big organization, but the CEO seemed to be managing the entire organization. And how I knew that is because the company had 70 employees, but on the day of the interview, there's a guy walking to the office, and he's going to town, a messenger, and the CEO got into his wallet, picked out, removed money, I think $12, and gave it to him. So when I looked at that organization, I was wondering, what structure is there? It's like one guy and 70, just followers. I'm an expert. I'm used to structure. I'm used to MCs. I'm used to EBs. I'm used to team members. I'm used to team leaders. I'm used to, you must diversify, you must segregate the power and help people to work and how a manager respect. And people are going to other people, not necessarily the CEO of the organization. So it must kind of like, I'm the wrong place. 1 week later, I quit. Second job. Much later, I worked for 2 months. The additional story. We had the office, our office used to be along around the area. Across our office is Sharia House, to our right was the office of the Prime Minister then. Okay? So every time Raila is coming to the office, they block the roads, all the roads, the usual presidential motorcades. So I'm there on my desk. When that was happening outside the office, everybody goes to the window, including my boss. The window is looking out, somebody is coming. You get the picture. So I'm like, what the hell are you doing on the window? Watching another of cars, talking about the president. Parents was just coming. What does that have to do with them? I mean, concentrate, focus, we are business to run. So I was like, if this is the kind of guy who's supposed to be inspiring me, I'm in the wrong place. Why? Because I believe your leaders need to inspire you. They need to be people who you're looking at. And for sure, that was not the kind of guy I wanted to relate going forward. So I quit the job 2 months later. Third job, I was like, Johnson, you need to be cool, just chill. And quit it. So the third job, I got the job in July. I told myself, no matter what, I'm going to take myself to December without quitting my job. So fast forward, midway through my job, I'm just going to make it go as always. Go for a meeting with the boss. I love reading. So I used to read lots of books. One of my favorite books that time was a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'm sure you all read it. So my boss had a BMW. So he's driving his car. Yeah. So me and my boss in the seat. So we're going for a meeting. So what am I doing? I'm the first seat with my boss driving. So I'm reading my book. We get to the meeting gets done. Now on the way back, the boss asked me, Johnson, what the hell are you doing reading in my car? So I don't quite get what he's asking. So I'm like, yeah, see, so see about the office. What's the issue? Then we drive a bit. He tells me, Johnson, I need to start reading this book in my car. What do you think other people are thinking about me? I'm like, oh, you look at the driver. I look at the boss. So you have inferiority complex. Okay, I'm sorry. That's very on my mind, right? Why would somebody have such an imagination of me who is 23, 24 years old, and he is the big boss owner of the company with a nice fancy car? Why would he feel intimidated when he is in the book? You get the point? He is supposed to be a CEO with other things in his mind to think about. Yet he's so concerned about a guy next to him reading a book who's driving a car. Sure, these people. What's the problem? I hung in there for 5 months. By December, I said, okay, I'm done. The point is, the moment you become an expert and you take this home, this is the time you have to know who you are and what your potential is and what your abilities are. The only thing that I can say really made a difference for me when Gymnastics was building in me character and building in me a sense of I can make a difference, I can make a change, I can contribute to a cause, to something, because Isaac taught us to believe in something, to design or to desire to make a difference in something. And that's also what I've always looked out for. Am I able to understand or to be able to understand where I can make a difference? That has been the most powerful learning point. You look at the ISEC logo, you begin as a block, and as you come out of the association, at the end it's you as an individual. So that's at the beginning what I see the future. I see the future leaders of the organization, of companies, of businesses, of the country, because we all have it in us, as I said. And that should be what you look forward to as an individual before the time in essence. Not yourself.
Yes, let's not this.
Why should Isaac be relevant to young people? I think it's, for me, Isaac's biggest power is Isaac's relationship to problems. Yeah. I always tell people, someone tells me, I'm having a hard time, we're struggling with the school. Yesterday, actually, we were calling someone from JCON, telling me how the school has taken about 3 weeks to get them to get a letter and get an approval. And nowadays, I tell them, that's a good thing. You're hustling, you're struggling, you're trying to find your way through something. You're trying to do an event, your speaker is not there, not the recovery is realizing the speaker is not going to attend in a situation, you have to solve a problem. So you see, you start getting to a point where you associate big problems with growth. And you see, most young people associate problems with, you're not going to find it there. If you tell a young person, let's say for example, Havila is the president of ISIS in Kenya, they're like, wow, a lot of respect. Then if you tell that young person that Havila has been working to solve a 1.6 million Kenya shilling debt, they say, love your job, love your title, but that's not it. Then you tell them, I do all this work, and because you are having a bad financial time, I don't get paid. Tell them, what's wrong? So what am I saying? I feel like young people have a very skewed understanding of the place of problem in today's society. And even if you want to be a CEO, even if you want to be rich, even if you want to have a good life, if you do not actively find problems that you're passionate about solving, you can't do any of those things. Every one of those people who we actively praise, from Barack Obama to Nelson Mandela, there was a problem that actually impacted that story. Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, there was a problem. And those guys actually love the problem, because if you don't love a problem, you can't take responsibility for it. I can say someone has been solving it. Let's say I was LCP last year, Isaac in Kenya in a bad state, and I say, That's not my job. Why should I take a year or even 2 now to solve this problem? And what people forget is when solving this problem, even to actually receive your value. So Isaac is relevant because it continuously exposes young people to problems. And then if you're wise about your Isaac experience, your relationship with problems changes. You no longer run away from problems. In fact, you know that your next job will be, I leave Isaac and I'll tell Johnson, I've observed the organization and I think you have these 5 key problems. I am having a Ubuntu, I've had this experience and I think I can take away at least 2 of your problems. Johnson will hire me.
In fact, you're hired.
Yeah, so that's what I say. We change the relationship to our problems and we become responsible for solving those problems, which is what every society needs. Yeah.
Thank you.
So young people and why Isaac is relevant for them. I think for me, I can say deep down I'm an introvert. I like being alone, quiet time, doing my own thing. But Isaac forced me to talk to people. When I first go into a room, I'll sit alone, scan, try and absorb. But you find Isaacers will approach you, talk to you, who are you, what are you doing? And that really brought me out of my shell. So I think for young people, first of all, as Johnson said, rightfully, it teaches you who you are and you find not solutions, I'd say, to overcome some of the challenges that you may have as an individual. Also, I'd say in terms of preparing you for let me call it the corporate world, because that's a different monster altogether. As you heard Johnson say, you'll encounter people who don't know themselves. You'll encounter people who think you're competing with them. But for you, once you understand who you are and you're able to find ways to get yourself motivated, to give yourself energy, to even run for an LCP term twice. Once you find those things that motivate you, then it's much easier for you to navigate because you've already gone through the experience. Of course, in a more in a safe space setting, as I had Constance calling it. Isaac is a safe space. It allows you to make mistakes. You make mistakes, you learn from them, and people will pat you on the back and say, that was a very big mistake, but I'm glad we went through it, so I hope we've learned from it. Yeah. I'd say also on another front, still on a personal level, Isaac could give you a family. Yeah. Isaac could give you a family. I married a lady called Nancy, who I met here in UON in the DYLC. Yes, I'm still trying to get her to come to the event. She's now somewhere in town with the kids, but she'll make her appearance when she's ready. So Isaac can give you a family, and also I mean also in a corporate setting. As John so rightfully said, you join as a block. You join when you're many. And you join as people from different universities, from different backgrounds. I can tell you that my current job, I was hired when the HR director was an Isaacer, a former Isaacer, and he was in KD. He used to be in the
What's up?
So he used to be the Isaac KUEB when I was in the Isaac UON. And shocked when I applied for the role and I see him calling me and telling me, I'm seeing your CV here. I'm like, how did you see it? He's like, I'm the HRD here. So that was 4 years ago and I got the job. and now he's moved into other roles within the organization. But generally, Isaac builds you as a person in your private life, in your corporate life, and really makes you understand what life is by giving you a safe space for you to make mistakes.
Thank you. Those are nice answers. You talked about Isaac in the corporate world. There's that thin line of transition, which was a big part of the alumni. I've seen it happening, where some of my vice presidents who are now as alumni, as people we worked with, as you also just said, you find I have my own vice presidents, some are here, some say I people. Yeah, I'll give you an example. I'm not money, so many people come. You might find that you join the company 2 weeks later, they've left in another job. 1 month later, they've left. The next job, 2 months later, they've left. And the reasons they'll give you, if you give a normal young person, will be like, unmatch a job because your boss wasn't taking this direction of thought. You just said it. And I found it's always been an issue transitioning an Isaac to the corporate world because they come in fully empowered, maybe you're full MCP, you're full MCP, then you're going to the job market, you're an intern. So how would you advise that kind of transition? What was your experience? Coming in, you had the highest role in an organization, empowering up to 1,000 people, then now you come back to the beginning, to the basic level as an intern. How do you think that transition should be managed? And for an Isaac?
Okay. I think to be an effective leader, you must get your hands dirty. Yeah? You must start from the grind, from the bottom of any organization. And it's the same way in Isaac. You don't start off as MCP. Yeah? You'll do team leader roles. Yeah? You will do EB roles. You will do MCVP roles for you to become the MCP. Even for BOA, you have to join as a BOA member, then become BOA chair. So in life, you have to have progression. And I think when you get your hands dirty, when you're at the base of the organization, the day that you will become the leader, it will give you the wisdom to understand what your decisions mean for the people who are working in the organization. Yeah, because you might find people who rise so fast, they also tend to have sort of like a hero syndrome, where they feel that all the decisions they make, probably they don't even need to consult. So I think it's very important for everyone to start at the bottom. I think even if I was hired if someone feels that I could be a CEO today, fine, I'll join as the CEO, but I'd really love to engage the teams. Probably within the first 6 months of my leadership role, I will join the teams and do the work that the teams are doing, just to get an understanding of what the teams are doing. So even though we're in ISEC and we learn a lot of soft skills, trust me, people out there don't even know how to write an email. You go into the corporate world, you're the intern, and your boss cannot compose an email to save his life. Yeah. So some of the soft skills that you learn, like even negotiating with an EP, trying to send an EP details of this is what you will experience, trying to create some posters and so on. Trust me, those skills, soft skills, come in really handy. And if you don't do the grind, you will not understand what your people need when you're the leader. So I feel that it's the individual to have the right attitude in terms of joining an organization. Don't expect to join and be the boss. Fine, they may give you a team and you're working with a team, but please get your hands dirty so that you understand what the organization's core activity is.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So, okay, I'll give you two perspectives. One is just an opinion, because I've never been employed, per se, in a corporate organization, like, the big corporates, but also give you an opinion as an employer. So, on the corporate side, maybe the perspective is a bit different from Dan's because usually what you find happening is that ISECers, when they get into employment, they move up very fast. Okay? So regardless of the space, maybe Dan is going down, regardless of the pace that you go, you're starting small going up, my view would be that you would move faster. Why? The question is now why? Why do you move faster? Several things. Number one, in the workplace, what people look for the most in our work environment is output. Get the job done. Now, if I put my hat as an employer, that's a really big problem we face. People who can get the damn job done. Okay? Too much energy, too much excuses, too much stories, too much of why you've not got a job done. So, if you're an ISECer, you'll be an ISECer now. That culture will be part of your habit. That habit will have been, as far as I'm concerned, eliminated. Because we have to, in ISECer work, you want to multitask. You're in school, you possibly are struggling with your parent relationship, you're growing up, you don't understand who you are, your dad or your mom, what is the case, those battles you're fighting. You're also very young, got boyfriends, got girlfriends, still figuring that space out. We usually operate with a very small amount of money. During our days, I know the student now is, let's get an allowance, I think, of 500 shillings a week. So I don't know how much you guys get nowadays from your folks, some of you are still in your father's houses. So all those dynamics, and then in ISEC, and ISEC can have demands for you. If you're the EB, if you're an MC role, if you're a team leader, you're doing faster. I think I traveling when I was in second year. The traveling, you can travel out of the country. You don't have to move tracks, you don't have to watch, you get visas, you're fundraising. All this is happening, and I'm just 20 years old. Just during the time I was done, I said I was a bit 19, I was a bit fine, I was finessed, some finesse in me. And that, in a corporate world, will be picked up immediately. No doubt, 100%, no doubt. Second point is that, how do people get promoted in companies? How do you get promoted? How do you move up the ladder? Anybody can do an idea?
Yes, wants to give it a try.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Based on maybe performance.
Performance. Okay, so I want you to talk about what you need. Don't deny. Give me a more heavy answer.
I guess ability to solve the company's problems. So it in turn makes your performance better, then it makes more good higher.
Exactly. So I want to go back to what Dan said. So that was very well. The moment you understand that you have to solve the problem, a company's problem is one. Who knows the answer? A company's problem is one. Who knows the answer? Any business has got the same problem. All of us have the same problem. What's our problem? Money. Money. You need to make money. You need to be profitable. If you understand that, and you make sure whatever you do in a workplace, you solve that problem, I can guarantee you, you will move up the ladder very fast, extremely fast. Why? Because problem solving is not in your JD. It's not written for you like you don't have time to solve problems. They just give you task assignments. You need to figure out this company, what is it supposed to, where is it going, what does it do? And how can I contribute my skills, my talent to solve this problem of the organization? That thinking is not there. It may be why people don't have the exposure you have to having a vision, having values, having all these things we do in ISEC, trying to adapt ourselves to Vision 2030 and use an MC vision for the year. take that to the workplace, you find yourself just in promotion. You're just by yourself. Because nobody else around you, all your peers, just went for a job from the salon. They work from 8 to 4 once the bell rings, they run out. You're like, yeah, but that's what I need to finish. And then, only for me, usipinga mlango watu wale nafanya kazi malize mpaka 6. It has iishe kesho asubuhi, I do something else. Those small things that you've been doing in the workplace will be noticed by the employer. Why? Because the culture is really unique. And that's what I said to me, I feel. Thanks.
Thank you, Joseph. Maybe going to the final questions. Being the MCP, being the boss of the organization, how do you think our membership, like the whole members, how do you think they can leverage on the alumni network, the ICE alumni
I'm thinking it's a difficult question to answer. It could be simple and it could be difficult. Because sometimes you don't know where you are. And one of the biggest things that happens is I learned something very powerful the other day. Actually, I think my brain has given me an answer. And somebody asked a question of these 3 resources, which one is the most important one? Yeah, it says people, time, and money.
Start with that. Which one do you think is important? People, time, or money? Yes, Mutu. People. Yes, Umi. Time. Anyone for money? Yes, right. I was waiting for this. Yeah. Continue.
So, first of all, an ISECA will approach an alumni for money. Most times, 90% of it, in fact, 95% of the time. Either you need money for their company because you're looking for a partnership, either you need money for an express you want to go for. So that's most of us are money centered. Yeah. Umi has said time. Yeah, time is very crucial. Of course, you realize over time, the concept of time also is very worked. Nowadays, as you can clearly see, something like TikTok is a year old or something, but it looks like 10 years, 20, 30 years old, given it's how many people it's influencing. So the idea and concept of time also is becoming more and more difficult to comprehend. Yeah, the world is so fast nowadays. You actually can argue something that happens over 10 seconds could have probably happened over 100 years, a billion years ago, right? So let me say why the people part is very important for an ISECA to understand. You see, you can send a proposal to an alumni and you want the money, right? And the alumni will actually say, yes, I love ISEC, I love the organization. 20,000 Kenya shillings to ISEC from EABL, from whatever company Dan works for, Joseph works for, to happen. But you will miss out the most important thing from the person, which is the information, which is the knowledge, which is the experience. We were having an alumni cocktail, I think, a month ago. Yeah, it's a month ago. And the HR director for McKinsey was there. And the first people are saying, Havila, you can go and pitch IGTA and get them to give you internships. But now you see how my thought process is evaluated nowadays is this. That is one partner. How can I turn this one partner into 50 partnerships? Which means what I need from her is not McKinsey. What I need from her is information. I looked at her and I was like, you are head of Africa for one of the most, it leads most of the time. If you do any research or anything in the world right now, you will find an article by McKinsey. They consult a lot of companies. What does that mean? She can clearly tell you which industry is struggling, which industry has money to spend, which industry is looking for young talent, which industry desires ISEC right now. So if you went for a proposal and you got McKinsey, ISECers will praise you. They reach you the man. You got the deal, you got the partnership. But what is the problem? A year later, let's say she's called Pauline, and I had a great relationship. My MCP successor might struggle to get McKinsey in because I'm gone. Why is ISEC not retaining the alumni relationship over a long period of time? It's because I can be great with Johnson, then my MCP predecessor becomes lousy with Johnson. What has happened? I went in for the money. Probably Johnson was not satisfied with my experience with him. So when the next Sakasha comes, he's just like another Havila, talking big, etc., not building the relationship between me and him. Back to the people element, and again, as I said, the information. So now when me, I approached Pauline, my conversation was now more on the information. Pauline, your HR director, help me understand how ISA can be relevant to companies across Africa. So if I get that information, I don't even know the ceiling to the amount of partnerships and the kind of benefits I can get from Pauline. You see, if you go with a partnership, you may get two interns. That's limited. If I get information, Pauline will even be shocked how I took her information and turned it into a partnership. Like, what did you do? Wow, that was incredible. I did not know the value of my information. But remember, Johnson is willing to meet me in town today and help me understand all he's ever learned. But I asked Joseph for money, he might be a bit skeptical. So the most pivotal thing there is the information. It has so much value, but we never seek it. As we want the quick, immediate value that everyone will see. So what am I saying? I asked the first question, three things: people, time, money. People are ahead of everything. And let me explain why. Johnson knows someone who can reduce the time I spend on a project by close to zero. Literally, I want to do something, just know someone who has the talent, has a team, has 10 years experience. In connection with that person, they treat me like a client and I'm paying 0 shillings. It has happened to me. I went to Joram and I had an idea for the dinner and do a virtual dinner concept. Joram, first of all, had a platform that he had already paid for in his own company, and I was to use and I would not have paid for. One. Two, he talked to his employees. They had a meeting scheduled for me. So I was coming in as a client. They are willing to listen to all my problems and what I'm listening to. So they asked me, Havila, take us to your vision for the dinner. So already, if it's money, out of the window, right? Time, it's the Friday to the dinner. I've come here bold. I want to do a virtual concept for the dinner the next day. These guys actually know that is the ask. Joram has told them he has a dinner on Saturday. Find a way to help him. So already, if it took an Isaac a month to understand the platform, I have reduced it to a 5-hour conversation. But who was the killing? It was Joram. It was the person. So keeping people over time and money, because a person can make time and money disappear real time. And remember again, don't go to the person because of the money that they have, because they have something more powerful, information. Get that? They don't even know the value of what they told you, then you can replicate that over 10 times what they have actually done. Yeah, that would be my answer.
Thank you. That's really awesome. Now, because of time, I'll allow 2 questions. Who has a question? Yeah, amazing. Yes, that is one. That is true. Thank you. Yeah. I hope you can be heard. No, okay. Without mic.
Thank you so much, guys. It's Johnson, Nabila, and Daniel. Yeah, thank you so much for the session. I just had a question concerning one of the things that this school right here has. Anyway, I had a question concerning something that we do with my fellow ISEC comments here. So, something that we've done within our EB, ISEC in Quer, and also outside with ISEC in Daystar is the concept of synergies. So, being able to work, not just sticking to your own portfolio, but you work with another VP in another portfolio, you send your members to work there, and then also you work with VPs or the LCP of the other LC. So from your conversation, I was struck and regarding the hierarchy like Johnson had said in terms of career progression, I was asking, how do you use that synergy which you have learned in your experience with ISEC? How can you employ it into your progression in career?
Okay. Do we take the next question or do we answer first? Okay, Janet.
My question is, you mentioned having gone through 4 years of leadership in ISET and how you don't live as a person. You have your ideas, you don't feel in a VP or LCP position, you have taken a team to like a whole vision for a year and you start with a team. So you come out with a confidence you come out with ideology, and then you go to our place that maybe doesn't match that, or you find things like nobody used to do it like this in ISET. There's a lot of unfriendly workplaces. Once you get to unfriendly, but you don't necessarily find the same type of environment when you live and go to other activities. So what's your advice? You sit it out and just try to dance. You live and start your own thing. How do you try and transform the place? So that what do you do, or you just like so that you don't come disillusioned with whatever you guys do?
Okay, I think we can start with the first question.
I think the question is similar. So at this point, I want to change hats and not put on the brush hat. I think the corporate hat to be done. So several things will pop to my mind. Number one is you see, I talked about earlier about knowing yourself. So maybe just to answer the question that you asked, see, the beauty about knowing your ability is that you can, in your own way, you can dictate sometimes. Okay? Now, I don't mean you be bossy. I don't mean you check into the job board and start giving people conditions and say, asking them about their 5-year plan, 3-year plan, 1-year plan. It's not like that. But see, because you understand, you can contribute, you can have conversations. And you see, organizations always have the followers and the leaders. Always, in all circumstances. They also just take instructions, they do the job, they are happy, very good. Those the employees who then seem to have an understanding of management, of leadership, of vision building, of team building. The one I was saying earlier, that talent will be picked up immediately. Any leader in the room knows another leader. Automatically. The moment you go into leadership, that automatically begins to contribute to your profession. Because in companies, it's about what's your position, and your positions usually are hierarchical in terms of what are you managing, 1 person, 2 people, a team, a division, a department. So to me, I feel or I see where you, the SFR, has gone through this exposure. Last week we were in a conference for ICT Nairobi, and also about the impact of travel. So how many of you have traveled out of Kenya? Okay. How many of you have been to America, the America side, Americas? Very good. Asia? Hi. How are you? Europe? Okay. So something specific.
I'm going to use Uganda.
Or Uganda? So people think of traveling. Traveling, you just get on a plane, you travel out of the country. No matter where you go, even Uganda is fine. But I know, maybe some of the experience. You travel, you have a different mindset, automatically. It's as simple as that. You see things that, are possibly not here yet. or are to come in some sort of future. That gives you a head start. An automatic head start, and you're done absolutely nothing. I just went to Germany for a week for a conference. I came back. I saw subways. I saw cities. I saw buildings. I saw infrastructure. Our good friend is an engineer. So if I'm in a meeting and just discussing the roads, and we're talking about a road in Maston or a subway, not because I know how to do it, just because I saw it somewhere and my mind is already thinking, do the road, then your subway, then you should do some purpose, then you should do speed trains, you'll see very similar. If you want to drive on Mercedes Benz, small tip. If you want to drive a Jaguar, anytime you want to drive, don't just admire it on TV or in the newspaper. Just take a day, go out, look for where those things are, that car is, and get in that car. Once you experience it, your mind starts to work around how to get it, how to get to it. So that's what happens when you're exposed. When you're exposed, you then have an understanding that people around you don't have. And that ability, that personality, always in the workplace will work. It works 100%. So you don't have to be shy or coy and try to be, a person that you're not, because your personality will come out in conversation, in meetings, in your suggestions, in your comments, together with your boss, your colleague, your workmates, and you can just come out that this guy, they seem to be smart people that are looking for. That's number one. Number two, on the business side, the number one attribute I look for in an employee is only one. Look for only one character who can guess what it is. Why guess? But all the characters, all the words that we use to describe people. Pick one word and tell me which one you think, which attribute you think it is.
Yes, sir.
Sorry? Disability.
Now you're going.
Adaptability.
Yes, one.
Creativity. Yes. Sorry? Curiosity.
Yes.
Innovative. Okay. I need more. Let's stop there. Competence. Okay. Sorry? Integrity. Open-mindedness is what I'm looking for. What I'm waiting for. Yeah. Confidence. Discipline. Okay, you're close. Ambitious. I like that. Somebody else?
Yes.
What ethic? Assertive. Self-driven. Becoming very close. Wise. Okay, so anybody else want to try? It's attitude. Attitude. What's your attitude to everything? To life, to work, to yourself, to people. What's your attitude? What is your attitude? Why is that so important for me? Because the moment you have a right attitude, everything else works. It's as simple as that. You come to the workplace with the right attitude. Look at your colleagues at the workplace with the right attitude. Look at work with the right attitude. Attitude is the most difficult thing to build in people. Because people, for obvious reasons, will have different experiences, will have different schools, will have different ways. But people with the right attitude will always excel in what they do. So there's a job to be done. You need to work over it. Right? It's okay. It's out. Don't tell me, you sleep at 10 and you wake up at 6. So, it's a job with a deadline. So can you adjust? You need to get this thing done. Hey, you get away from a meeting. There is no matter the meeting is at 9. It's 8:30. They know what you need to do. Make sure you do what you have to do to get the meeting on time. Whether you're going to get a duty or get a cab, or you need to make a decision then to make sure you don't disappoint the other party. It's an attitude issue. You just say, it's okay, I can get there late. It is fine. You say, or you can say, no matter what, I'll get there on time. I'll get there on time. So what do you have to do? What do you have to do on time? I'll get there on time. So if you have that attitude, then to me, everything else, whatever task you have to do in the business will work. And I hope you all have the right attitude. Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yes, I think the question was about how to use the synergies in the workplace. As I said earlier, you have a lot of competition in the corporate world. And many people are thinking in their individual silos. So if you take it from an ISEC perspective, you find incoming exchange is just thinking about incoming exchange. Outgoing is thinking about outgoing. But if you do the recruitment together, then you're preparing people for both experiences. So synergies exist in all facets of life. But what you need to look out for in the corporate world is people who think different from you, yeah? And you'll find that these are the people who are most likely to have good synergy with you because there's something you're bringing to the table that they don't have, and there's something they're bringing to the table that you don't have. So you'll find that you complement each other. Yeah? And you always hear the words like unlike poles attract. Yeah. So I'd say you just need to identify those things that you know you're good at, and find people who know what they are good at, and see how you can synchronize the two. During the conference last week, I saw a lot of synergy, a lot of synergy. Different people, different thought processes. Everyone was so different, but in synergy. Yeah? You find that everyone is just working towards the same objective to make the conference a success. So you find facilitators, OC, everyone just working together to make it a success. So define a vision and try and see those people who complement those things that you don't have, and they can be able to guide you to use them. One thing which I've always been told, always from the day I joined ISEC, was you need mentorship. To be a good leader, you need mentorship. I would say, maybe because of my experiences as a young person, a lot of my mentorship comes from my dad and my mom as well, but more so my dad. He has a very interesting way of looking at things, and it guides me a lot as well. So you find that I never took any mentorship from any ISECA or from even in the corporate world, and I think there's a lot of things that I missed out on. So I'd encourage you to seek out mentors. Yeah, mentors can be there for different reasons. It could be in your education. You could have a professor or a doctor who's taking you through a certain process, or you could have someone who's taking you through a spiritual process. You could have someone taking you through a career mentorship type of process. So seek synergies with the people you're working with, that's your peers, and also the people above you. And then also get some sort of visionary help, which is now through the mentorship process. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So I want to add something. So another tip or trick. One of the things that is the hardest to do generally is working with other people. So this whole teamwork thing usually is not understood by people, how teamwork actually works. But again, teamwork doesn't work with people who are ineffective. So when you're a team and if you're ineffective, the team will not be productive. Okay? So this is the progression. This is how it actually works. All of us have got 3 levels of our ability to get work done. The first level is the dependency level. So when I say dependency, it means that you depend on somebody else. So for us, when you're children, you depend on your father or your mother, to bring you up, to cross the road, to eat, or change diapers. So you're dependent, okay? So somebody else has to help you to get the job done. Over time, you become older, you graduate, then you become independent. Independent means you can do the job yourself. You can take care of yourself. And I'm sure many of us should be now moving from dependence to independence. Okay? The means of depending on that. That's what we call another day. The third level is what we call interdependent. So when you're interdependent, it means you appreciate the output of the other person to get the job done. Now this is the trick or the problem. It can depend on how you look at it. If you're a dependent person, you cannot be interdependent. You cannot jump from being dependent to being interdependent, because when you're dependent, you rely on somebody else to get the job done for you. So there's no way you can help somebody else get the job done. And people don't understand that. So if you're in a team and the team is not working, it means there are members of that team who are not yet independent yet. For you to be independent, you have to be independent. You must be independent. And a team only works when the individuals in the team are all independent. And then when you combine the efforts, you then create interdependence. And that's where the teamwork element comes in. The problem is you've got people in the team who are dependent. So they'll do what? They'll pull the team down because they're not able to get the job done in their own capacity. So on the teamwork issue, always ask the question, are we all independent? You must be 7 stars. Then you come together and then you do something. You cannot get a team where some of the people in the team are not yet able to be productive by themselves. So you need to be a superstar for yourself first before you become a superstar for the team. Not the other way around. You don't just join a team to become a superstar. Okay? So teamwork is an issue of having competent people in the team in the first place. That's the trick. That's the point I'm making. You don't be incompetent, then join a team, then hope to be competent. The team is not going to suffer from your incompetence. So it's dependence. Just remember this sequence. It's dependence. Ask yourself, am I dependent? That means, do I know what I need to do? If you don't, it means you need somebody else to tell you what you need to do. It means you're dependent. Get to, first of all, being independent before you claim to be contributing to the success of a team. You cannot if you are dependent. Yes.
I've learned something. You guys learned something. Yeah, I hope so. You know, I have questions. So you come later. So thank you so much, Johnson. Thank you so much, Amika. Thank you so much, Mr. Blue Chair. Thank you so much. And that has been our session. Let's give them a hand. So that has been the alumni space. And thank you. Yeah, they really enjoyed the session. They want us to continue. That's why you're not moving. I love it. Yeah, so what's going to happen next after this is we're going to have a short break, which is going to be, what's the time now? 2:48 at exactly 3:15. Yes? 3. Yes. At exactly 3, we are expected to be seated down because we have the last session of DYLC, which is going to be amazing. The last session is going to be amazing. So at exactly 3, let's settle and have this amazing session. Thank you so much, Justin. Thank you so much, Johnson. Thank you so much, Mr. Thank you so much, HCP. And you can take your break.
Yeah.
Not now. Okay. Oh. What's that? Yeah. Sorry.
Kindly